nice and cool. Now, some of the more observant types amongst you may have noticed that there's a penguin here who looks a little bit different from the rest. Now, Adrian's giving you a little bit of a clue. She is standing on top of her little rock there. You can probably notice her looking a bit different because she's got very different feathers. She's got yellow feathers on top of her head, not just a plain black and white one. Now, the reason she looks so different is because she's a different type of penguin. That is Roxy, and she is a rockhopper penguin. You can see her just there by the bucket. Now, rockhoppers originally come from the Falklands Isles, where it's a very rocky terrain, similar to this. And they got their name because, you guessed it, they get around by hopping from rock to rock, and you'll probably see an example of Roxy's move a little bit later on. Now, there's a little bit of a story behind Roxy's move over here to London Zoo, because it's not where she was actually born. She was actually born at Oxford Zoo in Whitney, and she got moved over here, well, because to put it bluntly, she wasn't the easiest penguin to get along with. She picked on the other penguins, and she pecked at their eggs, and she generally made their lives a little bit miserable. So we thought, you know what, move her to London Zoo, teach her a few manners. And it's worked. Most of the time, she's behaving wonderfully. And as a reward for all her good behaviour and all her good lessons learned, we've brought 2 other rockhoppers over from Whitney to keep her company. Now, they're not as easy to spot as Roxy because they're a little bit younger than she is, so they don't have the very distinctive yellow feathers on top of their head. But they're going to go through their first molt soon, which is where all their young feathers come out and they grow new feathers. And when they grow their new feathers, they're going to look exactly the same as Roxy. But I'll give you a handy zoo hint. If you look at all our penguin feet, you'll be able to spot the rockhoppers because they haven't got black feet. They've got red feet, and they've got red beaks as well. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, penguins are birds, but they can't do what most birds can. They can't fly. Now, why, you might be thinking? Because they've all got a perfectly decent set of wings on them, as we can see. But instead of using them to fly, they use them as flippers to help them swim, because what they lack in flying skills, they more than make up for in the water, because penguins are brilliant swimmers. If you're standing up on one of the platforms, you can probably see some of our penguins in action showing off their swimming skills. Now, a black-footed penguin regularly swims lengths of up to 9 miles at a time when they're feeding off the coast of South Africa, and they can reach speeds of up to 12 miles an hour. Now, maybe you think 12 miles an hour, not that fast, my car goes a lot faster, my moped goes a lot faster. But if you compare that to the current world record for people in the water, a man in America swam a distance of 50 meters inside in a nice, lovely, warm, heated indoor swimming pool, and he managed to scrape the grand speed of 5 miles an hour. So if you compare a big strapping human being at 5 miles an hour compared to a tiny little black-footed penguin at 12 miles an hour, you get an idea of how powerful they actually are for such small birds. Now, in the wild, black-footed penguins live in groups or colonies of between 50 and 100 birds, and each group or colony is made up of couples and smaller family units, because, as I'm sure you all already know, penguins mate for life. Now, our little colony here at London Zoo, we've got 37 penguins altogether, and just like in the wild, we've got lots of couples and smaller families as well. One of our most famous pairs here